بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وآله وصحبه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
How's everyone doing today?
الحمد لله رب العالمين
والصلاة والسلام
على رسول الله.
Oh shoot.
We're going to be talking about the difference between advising someone and just outright judging someone.
Very important, especially with the age of social media. People could just throw out slanderous statements or like very bad statements to people when all they were doing was trying to have better for them.
Yeah, trying to advise you.
Yeah.
He's just, your brother or sister is just looking out for you.
And I think a lot of it is with intention. And I think the reason why a lot of statements are misunderstood is because, well, you can't see what's directly inside someone's heart. So some statements may come off as this or some statements may come off as that. But in reality, it's all with intention. You can't really see intention.
Deen nasih.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, you can't see intention, but you know, words do matter. Like, your choice of words will matter. Someone may be harsh in giving like someone some advice, and it may come off as judgmental, but that may not be their intention. And, you know, they can further explain that if they were to have a conversation about it. But then when you have comments of people just like outright attacking people, like I know we've talked about this before, but I don't think we centered an entire episode upon it because people have such a clear misunderstanding of this. Like I remember I talked about it before and someone told me like what I said was wrong. And I was like, nah, what I said was not wrong, because I'm telling you, there are people out there who will be flat out judgmental. And instead of, you know, calling to what is good and forbidding what is evil, they forbid the person who's doing the evil. They look down upon the evil and look down upon the person who does the evil. The person is not what we look down upon. It's the evil. Like the sin that you do, yeah, we look down upon that because in Islam, that's haram. But you can come back from the haram. You know, see, as long as you see the error of your ways and you turn back to Allah, you know, you repent, you seek forgiveness, you can always come back.
It's not necessarily about condemning the person, but really it's just about advising them about the action that they're doing. Maybe you tell them a danger of it. Maybe you just tell them it's outright haram. And whether they accept it or reject it, you know that your job has been done.
This goes for all people. We hate the sin. We don't hate the person.
And that goes for, all people. But what do you guys say to the people that say it's none of your business?
Well, that's just happened to us. like I mean, if we talk about something, like we never try to talk about stuff from our own desires. Like there are people who ask us to touch up on certain topics, and we've always tried to avoid certain things because we understand the reaction we're gonna get, because we live in this age. Like we're from this generation. We live in this day and age where we understand that people will not take, you know, advices that they don't want to hear lightly. When we tell you something that you don't want to hear, people are going to come at us and completely disregard what we say, and they're going to turn away from it and then just go to attacking us or attack the messenger. Like, don't shoot the messenger, man. And, you know, the thing is, it reminds me of the Quran. The messengers, they came to these nations, they said, like, what you're doing is false. Like, don't follow these false gods. Don't worship these idols. You follow that which cannot help you, that which is not Allah. And then they say, no, you're in clear error. They tell the messenger, you're in clear error. And then Allah destroys them. And you see that, you see what they do. They attack the messenger. The messenger didn't come with nothing but a message. He came to just tell you what you were doing is wrong.
And like they completely disregarded what the messenger had said to them. They didn't contemplate over it at all. All they did was just they looked at the man. They said, "Nah, you're a magician, or you're just a soothsayer. You're nothing." And then like it doesn't make sense to me.
That's literally happening right now. Like whenever you see someone who's clearly just not trying to attack any particular person. Like let's say for us, if we talk about something and we speak about like either men or women, we're gonna speak about in a general sense. We're not gonna generalize one woman and say that's all women. We're gonna say, okay, there's a group who may do this. If you fall into that group, you know, be weary of this type of thing. And if you're a man, if you fall into this category, then be weary of like these types of things, right? Like we're sending a warning against certain things.
And they tell us we have no place to speak on such things. But like, here's the thing. If you do a sin in public, you can be addressed in public. Obviously, if someone does a sin in private, you know, you're not going to sit here and expose this person, because now you can be sinful for that.
And it doesn't mean advising them in public, saying like, okay, making an example out of them. You don't make an example out of them, but if they go, like if someone were to go online saying something is from the Sharia and it's not at all, then you have to advise them publicly, because Like, you need the people who saw their video on top of anybody else who may come across that video to know, like, yo, do not listen to what this person says because they said something false in this video. Like, and you know, that I could take that because I understand, like, if I were to say something completely false, okay, let me know. Either I'm gonna take the video down, I'm gonna correct myself, especially if I see someone who makes a correction to me, like that type of stuff. But
we don't want to cause corruption in the land.
Exactly.
We don't want to cause major confusion, right? Because
Exactly.
the deen is not supposed to be, confusing. It's supposed to be simple, and we're supposed to lay it out the right way, right? We don't talk from our own desires here. We talk from the, what Allah SWT has decreed for us and what the Prophet ﷺ has also given us.
And the moment that we give into our desires and we say to someone, like, we can defend them even though they've done a sin just because they're our friend or something, we let our feelings take over instead of letting the judgment that Allah has bestowed upon us, the Furqan, the Quran and the Sunnah. Once we like disregard that and go into our feelings, then we start to become like those who are not Muslim. Allah SWT, He said that we are the best nation, but we don't become the best nation automatically just by naming ourselves Muslim, just by saying we submit to Allah. Submission to Allah comes with everything that you do in your life that is for the sake of Allah, meaning the prayer, fasting, hajj, zakat, even sadaqah, like the things that are not obligatory upon you, those things for the sake of Allah. That's when you become someone who will be higher in rank, but you have no say in what your rank is right now.
Like, and it will always, like, have you ever found that, like, you'll advise a friend, someone you know, and they'll be angry with you?
Yeah. And this right here is just peak arrogance, right? Because, a true friend will want to advise you, right? Because like, someone who's not necessarily your friend, who doesn't really care about your well-being, will allow you to do whatever you want to do. So for example, right, in our society, a lot of people like to drink, and then some people will drive, right? You'll have a friend that's sober. I'll tell them, you know what? Don't drive, right? This friend is looking out for you, but your other friend will sit there and just get in the car and be like, yeah, let's go. We getting lit. And then, obviously, it turns for the worse. Either you end up killing someone who's innocent, or you kill yourself, or you kill the both of you, or whatever it may be, or not even just harming someone. You harm yourself, or you harm somebody else.
So like, take it as take this as me advising you. If anyone ever advises you on something and tells you to fear Allah, don't attack them. Just contemplate on what they're saying. Don't argue with them. Just even if they might be wrong. It is always better for you just to contemplate on what you're doing.
That's the easy route to take, though. The easy route is to completely disregard what someone says because you want to persist in what you're doing. Like, you don't want to hear that what you're doing is wrong. Even when someone knows, like, if they engage in haram and they know it's haram, they still want to engage in it because, they're having fun. They're giving into their desires. It's something that is pleasurable to them because they have a void missing in their life. When you're missing that connection with Allah SWT, you're going to seek to fill that void with other things, and they're short-lived pleasures. That's why you have the people who party, the people who smoke, the people who engage in zina, who gamble, who have these addictions to these sins because they don't have a connection with Allah, so they have to fill the void with something. And then they're going to chase that feeling every single time, even though it's never like the first time that you had that feeling. Like the first time that a gambler wins his first couple $1,000s by gambling, he's never going to have that same feeling going on because now it's just a primal nature for him. Like, he just has to do it. Just like someone who smokes cigarettes. They just do it because they have to. Like, there's nothing else to it because they're addicted to it. Even though it's harming them. They know the effects of, the actions they persist in, but they're still going to do it because they have no connection to Allah. They have nothing that tells them, like, this is wrong. When shaitan is your ally over Allah, then shaitan's going to tell you, keep persisting in what you're doing.
Having good people around you to advise you. That's one of the main things we like. A man is on the religion of his friends. This is from the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, hadith. A man is on the religion of his friends. This is also like companionship is a part of life. Like, we all live on earth together. We're going to have companions. You can't persist in this life alone. Why? Because mankind forgets. What is it?
Insan.
Like, mankind forgets. It is always important to have people remind you. So it doesn't matter if you're the highest sheikh or the lowest of the low. You're gonna need someone to remind you. You're gonna have those companions, and it's up to you ultimately to accept the advice, or if you want to be arrogant and reject it and persist and strut, Like, you know, like
Then say
subhanAllah.
we are free of you.
Yeah, subhanAllah. It's ultimately up to you.
I mean, like realistically, you know, this is also an episode speaking about like it happens to us. That's why we're talking about it. Like it happens to us. I mean, we're people on social media now, so like we're subject to the scrutiny. We're subject to the criticism. You know, whenever we get corrections, you know, I take that with the utmost of respect because I understand, like, oh snap, if I've said something wrong, but then there are people who will completely try to correct us, knowing that, like, not knowing that if they're right or if we're wrong. Like they start to bring in this I think or I believe. Like, don't bring none of that whenever you're trying to correct something Islamically, because
Mhm.
the you think and you believe it has no weight, like it has no weight in Islam. Like an opinion has no weight in Islam. Only the opinions of the scholars will matter. But what are the
Based on evidences.
yeah, where do the scholars draw their opinions from? They draw from the
Quran,
scholars
Sunnah.
before them, from the scholars before them who drew it from the Quran and from the Sunnah. It goes all the way back to the Prophet ﷺ. See, but for us, you're just gonna draw it from what? From your mind? From like you're just gonna draw it out of thin air?
And respectfully, like, who are you to do so? Like, you're not
Wallahi,
qualified.
Respectfully, who are we to do so? That's why when people ask us like opinions on certain things, I'm like, yo, I'm not never gonna be qualified to do this until I've studied as much as a scholar. But for me to do that, you know, I have to be like a doctor in the field. Like that's like asking me medical advice, and I'm nowhere near a doctor.
Mhm.
Like I may have like studied a few articles on Google or something like that, or read a couple of books, maybe read an anatomy book, and then you're gonna ask me medical advice. Hey, yo, like how do I fix my knee? My leg is broken. Like I can't operate on you. I can't help you in those types of things. The only thing I can really give you is the fact that you have to turn to Allah. Like, but a scholar will have better
answer for you.
a better answer for you, especially when it comes to giving fatwas. You know, because fatwas, they're so specific to situations. Like there are people who go through certain things and they have literally no idea what to do. Like that's what I get whenever I see a video of Sheikh Asim. Like he gets some crazy questions, but you know there are people who actually have these concerns. Like they need to know what they have to do Islamically because they're so concerned with the situations that they go through that they want to avoid haram at
But
all
one
costs.
thing I want to point about Sheikh Asim al-Hakim, he never takes a question, like he always takes all his questions seriously, and I love that about him. Like if you're a Muslim, maybe you have a non-Muslim friend, or maybe you have just a Muslim friend who's lacking in knowledge, and they ask you a question on something. It is important or imperative to take every single question seriously. Why? Because they could don't assume, like assumption is where a lot of like bad things come from. So, indeed, some assumption is sin. SubhanAllah. Like don't
Assumption
assume
is
that
the worst accusation.
Assumption is the worst accusation. Don't assume that they're being arrogant or they're being ignorant towards you, but rather just like answer every single question sincerely and genuinely in Islam.
Or
Enjoin what is good, forbid what is evil. SubhanAllah. Surah Al-Anim, Surah Imran. SubhanAllah. Verse 110.
no, I heard before was like the companions would ask the Prophet ﷺ a question, but like those questions were like, you know, those are the type of questions you wouldn't want to ask. I heard it was like you'd rather like dig a hole for yourself instead of like ask those types of questions. But like, you know, the Prophet ﷺ would answer even those questions, right? Because you know, like people always say, like no question is a stupid question, right? Like you got a question, it's gonna be answered. There's an answer.
I mean, it's better than you persisting in falsehood. Like, what if the thing that you're scared to ask about is haram and you're too scared to ask about it? So then that ignorance ends up sending you to the hellfire, because ignorance is bliss. Like it's all purely upon you if you are ignorant about a topic. Like, let's say you go your whole life not knowing a certain action is haram and you continue to persist in it. But then you go to the day of judgment saying, I didn't know. Well, were the resources available for you to know that this is haram? Either by the Quran and the Sunnah and all the resources that we have today, especially with technology and the advancements of that. And if you have to say yes, then like that's upon you. That's not upon anybody else but you.
Dude, even look in this world. If I travel to a different country, and let's say in a different country, cussing goes against the law, and I cuss and I end up in jail for it, like, was it just for me to end up in jail, even though I didn't necessarily know? Because, you know, I'm entering into their territory now.
You must know.
You know, I have to do my research. I have to study. So
that's why if people were to go to a whole foreign land, they have to kind of research the customs, especially like, let's say like Americans who go to anywhere in the Middle East, they have to be able to research because they may not know like
so-and-so is haram. Or
like there are things that are forbidden, not even haram, like against the law of that land. Yeah, against the law of that land. Like if an American goes to Saudi, they have to understand like there are things you're gonna see that are not in America. So you have to be able to understand it. You have to understand the culture a little bit.
It's
Right.
like,
I mean, for example, like here we have a speed limit. Other countries don't have it necessarily a speed limit, right? So we come here, like, and then we start speed. We're like, oh well, my country we didn't have to speed, so and then it's not an excuse. Cop is still gonna write you a ticket,
and it's the same
and-
with religion. It's not an excuse. It is up to you,
And we have-
especially in this day and age. And it's imperative that you go and do your research.
It's not even just religion. It's Allah's law. It's the Sharia law. So there's no law greater than that.
Especially when you yourself go out your way to advise someone, back it with evidences and make sure that what you're saying is concrete.
Or here. Now, I really want to go back to the point from what you were talking about earlier in the episode. Like when people start attacking the advisor, like you ever go in a TikTok section and you just see like someone like will advise a brother or sister in a video, and then you just see a whole lot of comments just defending the person who's sitting like, it's not your place to talk, stay out of this, it's none of your business. We all sin, it's just like, okay, if we all might sin, two wrongs don't make a right. So, I'm gonna sit here and still give my advice. I still have to do my, due diligence.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to bring up, was like when they try to attack the advisor, like especially if they're not judging, like when they just say like, oh, beware of this, or maybe do this, like they give them advice on what to do next time, like don't put music in your video, maybe using a sheet next time or something like that. And then if someone comes in and starts attacking them, saying like this and that about music, music not haram, what do you care, why are you commenting, blah blah blah, this and that, it's like who are you? Like, I'm just trying to sitting here and giving friendly
Like
advice,
you're really
right?
the enemy, bro.
Yeah. Like, why are you doing Shaitan's job for him?
You're making his job easy.
Exactly. Like you're out here spreading more fitna. Like he's already spreading enough fitna. Like this man has been persistent since the time that Allah reprieved him, since the time that he was kicked out of Jannah. Like you're here persisting in the evil that he's trying to cause us, when you're supposed to be forbidding that evil.
Yeah, you ever see like such ignorance and like you're just, I can't believe my eyes. Like it's just like you go on TikTok, you got so-called Muslims out here saying that Christmas is halal and this and that, and I'm just like, dude, what type of Islam are you following? Where are you getting these things from? You are creating so much confusion, right?
What type of sunnah is that? Bro?
like I can't believe my eyes like half the time. I'm just like, dude. Like there are really people out there that like think like this.
Man, subhanAllah.
Well, a lot of people don't think about is like, see, if you were to engage in these pagan festivals like Christmas and stuff like that as a Muslim, think about, would the angels even enter your home? Like, would the angels enter your home knowing that, oh, it's not my intention to celebrate Christmas, it's a cultural thing? Like, no, saying stuff like that, you're trying to hide behind the fact that, oh, it's all about intention. See, persisting in haram, intention, like, it doesn't matter anymore.
Just because you have so-called good intention doesn't mean you can't do something wrong. This right here needs to be addressed for everyone. Like the people are always like, Allah knows my intention. Yeah, of course, Allah knows your intention. But just because you have good intention doesn't mean you can't be sinful for what you're doing. Mm-hmm. I can have good intent to, let's say, stop a crime, but then in my intention, I killed this guy.
Look, or even for the sake of the episode, I can have good intention to advise you, but the way I went about it was so horrible that I ended up being sinful.
Exactly.
I use foul language.
Like you just imagine, you go, you want to advise someone, you come to, you start yelling at them, you slap them, you're like, yeah, you needed that. Like, dude, it's just like, okay, I understand, like you had good intention, but like
that doesn't mean you can't be
your action. Your actions should still be good,
presentable.
Yeah, or like Musa alayhi salam, he killed the man on accident. Like he had good intention.
Man, he killed him on accident.
He had no intention of killing him. Like he was just trying to separate a fight.
Man, that's a problem.
Until he saw that man who he saved persisting in a fight again the next day. But what's it called? It makes you think about like a situation that I just thought of. What like for example, trying to think. I literally just had it, but y'all was talking and I kind of forgot it. Someone sparked the conversation, man. I'm trying to get it back.
What?
Just start talking so I could like think about it, because I was just thinking about a situation that I was going to bring up as an example. Bro, come on.
Hold on.
I'm brain farted too. All
You
right.
go, all right, guys. You see exactly what this just causing you. Like, look at the companions around me. He starts to lose his train of thought. He starts to lose his train of thought, and then I start to lose my train of thought. See, this is exactly why it's important to surround yourself with good companions.
No. Back to the original topic of advising someone. Like I want to talk about social media. Why? Because social media is a big part of why we like this topic is apparent. But even in the time of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, like this, judging by what is apparent, like this was something that was practiced. Like to invite, if someone were to be doing something wrong publicly, you don't have a right to say, oh, why are you like addressing him publicly? Why? Because you can't do something called that Islam and then not expect to be addressed publicly for it.
Or you can't be known as a Muslim persisting in haram
Oh
publicly.
yeah, that's the. I wanted to talk about this. That's the like one of the reasons why I love Islam and I love like the Muslim community on social media. Like one of the goods in it is I know as a Muslim, if I were to post myself doing something wrong, I would have people who would come and tell me, come and make me feel bad about myself, telling me that like, oh, this is haram. What are you doing, man? You're munafiq. Like I would feel good about that.
What do you mean munafiq?
I would feel good.
But
Why?
I
Because it
understand what
would
you're
make me want to take whatever I did down, or make me like. It would make me cautious about what I post online.
You'll see the wrong in what you're
it
doing.
makes me
But
cautious about what I post online. Maybe I learned something new from that.
There are still those people who they'll take it as a personal attack instead of, like an Islamic advice. No, but you saying, anybody saying like, oh, you're a munafiq, or anybody insulting someone in a way to advise, like that's judging. That's not like judging by what is apparent. You have to understand the word judging in that sense does not mean, hey, you're a munafiq because you pray and you drink alcohol. Like that's not what you do. You don't go out here throwing around terms like, oh, you're a kafir or you're a munafiq, because that is only known to Allah. But you can tell them, hey, like if you're like, why are you're partying and you're supposed to be Muslim? Like that's wrong. Like you shouldn't be doing that. And if you're doing that, you have to, check yourself, because we have to look within ourselves first. Like if you're gonna go to advise someone, you have to say like, okay, am I doing this for the right reason? Like, why am I saying what I'm saying? When it comes to the day of judgment, will my advice come back to haunt me, or will it come back to, shed light upon me because, I gave advice, I gave a warning to another Muslim and they took it or they didn't take it, regardless of that fact, I did something good because my intention was recognized by Allah. Or is it going to be originally, yeah, my intention was good, but then it turned evil because I started attacking this person. I took fear to them. I called them a munafiq. Like I did all these things. I told a sister like, oh, you shouldn't even wear the hijab if you're not going to wear it right. Like these types of things. Like if you're going to say terms like that, like, oh, you might as well not even be Muslim if you're not going to pray. Like, why don't you try to help them come back to Islam?
And this turns people away from Islam. And then like, if that turns someone away from Islam, like you will be questioned for that. Like just imagine someone loses their hair after because of something that you said.
Think about how much that like comes back to haunt you.
You got to understand the magnitude of what you're doing when you say something, because words mean a lot.
Oh, not even just that. Think about it. You made someone lose their hair after because of something that you said. But you can basically say you did worse than killing this person.
Or even so, like, subhanAllah, damn, bro. Or even so, maybe you spread false information. And this made people confused about religion. It made them leave religion. Like,
and that's one of the things that's hated to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is spreading falsehood.
Yeah. And that's why, of course, like we do our best here to not speak on anything that we don't know about. So, if someone asks me a question, like, for example, I was on live yesterday and one of the people, they asked me a question. I was like, hey, look, listen, straight up, I don't know. And alhamdulillah, I also had someone on live with me. So, they were able to answer the question. Yeah. It's all right. We're all ignorant on certain subjects. We're not going to know certain things, That's why we always have to advise to the next person. Like our advice is to, if I don't know something, I can advise you to someone who does know.
And understand, not knowing does not mean an answer does not exist, but you just have to go find the answer for yourself as well. And the thing, like, when we say we don't speak on what we don't know, we also don't want to speak on our desires. Like, and if we ever do, that's why we say we're open to correction. If you have to correct us, then go ahead and correct us. SubhanAllah, we don't need people coming out here attacking us, because that's happened to us. And it doesn't like, at first, when we first started this and I seen it, I was like, man, that kind of sucks. Like these people are out here trying to say like, oh, we're just wrong, or not. They weren't even attacking our knowledge. They were attacking our appearance, our hair. Like, look,
just imagine the ignorance in this. We were out here, we were giving Islamic, reminders. Like we were out here doing a service to these people. And yet the only thing in the comment section was, your hair. You need to cut your hair. If you want people to take you seriously, you need to cut your hair. What do you mean? What do you mean if I want people to take me? Look, people will take me serious either way. If you don't want to go ahead and take me seriously, then go ahead and I'm free of you. I don't need you. And just as much as you don't need me, there's plenty of other people out there who give Islamic reminders that you can go ahead and learn from. If hair is such a problem for you, then let it be a problem for you. I can't change that for you. You need to, if you had knowledge on Islam, you would know that my hair, the way I have my hair is not haram.
And the thing is, like, they go to attacking something completely out of the scope of conversation. Like, we're out here talking about like
music or something, and they'll be like, man, brother,
the permissibility of music, and then you're out here like, bro, cut your hair, or bro, grow your beard, or why are you dressing like the calf? It's like,
or here,
what are y'all doing, man?
One thing, like, especially in the thing on music, it was like they look like Tupac themselves, Like, what are you trying to say here? What are you trying to imply here? Either you're trying to be a racist or you're being
ignorant.
An ignorant?
Ignoramus.
Yeah, for real, an ignoramus.
Insulting the creation of Allah. Come on, man. We're talking about one thing and then you're going ahead and doing another. But
like look, this is really where we can pose a question, like, what kind of debility, imbecility, pusillanimity, imbecility is this?
Again? It also reminds me of times where people have insulted our intelligence. Like, we'll post a clip and we'll be speaking about something and then they'll go ahead and say we're wrong. And I'm like, see, and then people saying that, even though I don't know if I know I'm right, I still go ahead and I research again. I make sure I'm right because I'm like, okay, let me make sure I did not make I made zero mistakes.
I think that happened with the story of Firaun.
Yeah,
when we talked about
Firaun, where he actually did say
that he's from the Muslims.
Yeah, he said that. And people were like, oh, no, he never said it. Angel Jibreel alayhi salam kicked dirt in his mouth. I was like, yeah, that happened as well. If you read the tafsir of that ayah, but in the ayah, Allah says that he said, I am from the Muslims. I believe in the God of the children of Israel. And people were attacking me saying like, oh, no, you're wrong. Like, who is this guy saying this and all this and that? And I'm like, and then there were people who made videos defending me. And I was like, I didn't need that because, I understood. But it got in my head a little bit because I was like, these people insulting my intelligence. Like, they think I did absolutely zero research on on the topic. So then I went back, researched again, looked at the tafsir, multiple tafsirs, looked at the ayah again. I looked at it, I read it like 5 times. I don't know why I did, but I was just doing it because I had to make sure, like, even though like people may not know like what I said was correct, I had to make sure like this may be like a test from Allah, checking me, making sure that every single time I say something, I'm always double checking, triple checking that what I said was correct and that I didn't go like stray away from what the Quran and Sunnah has advised us upon in certain topics, because that's so dangerous. Like, we don't want to speak about something and it has completely nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Even what happened yesterday, like, what comment did you read yesterday? I remember it was so absurd. What you read yesterday? You were talking about the Tabarruj.
Yeah, speaking about the Tabarruj, and someone said like, yo, why is a man talking about this?
Like, who was the person who delivered the message of Allah? Was it not a man?
Every prophet is a man.
Like, you're gonna sit here and say a man can't speak on the matter of woman?
Ignorant statement. That's gotta be such an arrogant statement. That's got a sexist statement. That's gotta be so discriminatory on so many levels. And now we have beef.
And that's partially where that came from, because I saw it on both Instagram and TikTok comments like that. And I'm sitting here like, people are completely taking the message the wrong way. It was clearly just, a warning for sisters out there. And they took it completely the wrong way, some of them. And the reason I brought this topic is because it happens in other places and I see it. Like, I see it in other comment sections and on other videos on social media. So I felt that there needed to be like something said, because people are so like, they've blurred the lines between advising and judging. The sin is what we hate. We have to keep emphasizing that. We don't sin is what we don't want. The person is not who we hate. Because if Allah could forgive you, then who are we?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to worry about me. If I hate you, it doesn't matter if I hate you. It doesn't matter if he hates you. It doesn't matter if the whole world hates you. If Allah does not hate you, if Allah's on your side, then it doesn't matter, because then you're protected from the entire world and everything that's in between the heavens and the earth, if you have Allah's protection, right? So you have to pay no mind to that. But people have to check their words and check their intention, especially when it comes to things like this. Like, don't be so ignorant to the fact of that if you get something, that if you see a video that's advising you upon something and you are part of the community that it's talking about, or like the topic, like
take
and
the
if you fall
reminder.
into that category, take the reminder, bro.
and keep it
Like,
moving.
just take it and keep it pushing, man. Why you out here in comments like attacking the messenger, man?
It's about perspective, right? So I can either take your advice as something good, or I can take it as something bad, right? So I can take your advice as, like I said, just take the advice and keep it pushing. Like, take it as a form of,
or you can take it as an attack towards you, but don't be ignorant. Bro.
See, when you make Islamic things personal, then that's when you've lost, because nothing Islamic is personal. There's nothing personal to you, because every Muslim is supposed to be the same in the aspect of where we forbid good. We forbid evil.
Forbid evil.
We forbid evil. Shut up, man.
Enjoin the
We
good.
forbid evil and enjoin good, right? And we establish the prayer. We give zakat. That's enjoined upon everybody in the Quran, right? And then we follow the sunnah, right? So in that aspect, we're all supposed to be the same.
Mhm.
You know, the thing that distinguishes us is our good deeds and our intentions. So between that, you have to understand that, like, don't think you're someone above another person. Don't automatically put yourself below another person, because at the end of the day,
We're all Muslims.
we're all exactly. We're
We're
all
all
just
Muslim.
trying to
We're
earn
all
the mercy of
united
Allah.
under you. La ilaha illallah.
We should all be trying
And
to
we're all
die
brothers
with la ilaha
brothers and
illallah.
sisters to one another.
Exactly. And that term, brothers and sisters, that's not shared in any other faith. Like Allah says in Surah Hujurat, the Muslims are but brothers. Like, He places that term upon us because we have to have that level of connection, that it's like a family. Like that we all want to meet each other in Jannah. And if we were to meet in Jannah, we could all be companions. We could all see each other and enjoy ourselves the way that Allah has promised us, right? And that's what we should be seeking. We shouldn't be seeking to be better than this person, because all time you could end up in Jahannam. Or the person that you're insulting or judging in a harsh way could end up in Al-Firdaus, and you can end up in the lowest level of Jannah. Like, and obviously you'll still be satisfied, but you have to understand, like, the rank. There's a difference in rank there. Like, one person is the closest to Allah and the other isn't. And that's just to say, like, it's a warning against watching your mouth. Because I've never personally been in comments out here speaking about someone, because I understand that if I have nothing nice to say, if I don't think I could say something in a nice way, I'm not going to say it at all.
Yeah, I wish I had the hadith for it. There's a hadith on something like that. Like exactly what you just said.
Like, يا أيها الذين آمنوا قولوا قولا سديدا.
No. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله قولوا قولا
Oh,
سديدا.
taqullah. Dang. I got it wrong too. Oh, man.
يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
That's a beautiful verse here in Surah Ahzab, man.
beautiful to end it.
You guys should all go look it up. Chapter number 33,
verse. Say a good speech.
I think verse 70.
You think what falls under saying a good speech is you out here takfeering another Muslim or something, calling them a munafiq, telling them to just completely turn away from Allah, or saying things that could potentially turn them away from Allah, like.
And then look at the things that precede taqullah, fearing Allah and saying good speech. يُصْلِحْ لَكُمْ أَعْمَالُكُمْ وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ ذُنُوبُكُم. SubhanAllah. That's a great way. That's a great way
to end the episode, SubhanAllah. And that's going to close out the episode speaking about judging versus advising. Judge by what is apparent, but don't be someone who is harsh towards others. We don't seek to be harsh towards any person, Muslim or non-Muslim. Like, we should be an example to other people, but we should not take that term that we should be an example as a way that puts us on a pedestal. We're not above anybody else. By the judgment of Allah, like, that's whose fate, like, our fate is in the hands of Allah. Like, that lies with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At the end of the day, yes, everything is left to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But as Muslims, we enjoin good and forbid evil. And with that being said, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
All right, guys, make sure you guys share this video with your friends and family. Make sure you like, subscribe. Of course, if you're on YouTube, and hit that bell notification, bell icon, get notified every time we post. And we're still students of knowledge. We're not scholars, so we're open for correction. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.